All right, today's matchup draft for week 3. Any matchups, wherever you want to go. Chris, you got the first pick.
Okay, well, I'm going to go to our Sunday night football game. And where I really want to go, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things there. But to me, this is a game where if the Packers want to win the football game, they're not going to run the ball great on the 49ers. That's not going to happen. You're not going to get a lot of throws down the middle of the field. You're not going to be able to, play action, get people over the middle. 49ers cloud it. It's going to have to be about Rodgers and his weapons versus the corners of the 49ers. If you want to beat the 49ers right now, that's an issue with their football team, and you can throw the ball outside the numbers on them. Are they willing to do that? So many coaches and teams aren't always willing to do that. Oh, wait, I'd rather have a cool play in the middle of the field. Well, how come sometimes you just got a guy that throws a 100-mile-per-hour fastball and you just beat that guy because he's better? And that's one thing that I'll just be interested to see if they do it. They did it a little last year, but we know the 49ers weren't at full strength, and see if Rodgers and company can maybe take advantage of that.
I agree with you, and that's one of the great games of the week, and we learn a lot from the Packers based upon that one. I'm going to go to a sneaky good game on Sunday, Patriots and Saints getting together in Foxborough.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick versus Jameis Winston. And Belichick has faced Winston one other time. Winston was 26 for 46 with 334 yards and a touchdown in a 19-14 Patriots win over the Bucs in Tampa in October of 2017. So it's not like Belichick had him all twisted up. It was year 3 for Jameis Winston, but now we have him in this new offense, and Sean Payton trying to find that sweet spot between what we saw in week 1, what we saw in week 2, push him more toward week 1. Just going to be very curious to see what kind of roadblocks, what kind of hurdles, what kind of challenges Belichick throws at Winston to try to make him look like the guy that he looked like in week 2. And the formula was simple: shut down the run, get him off his mark. Can Belichick do that? Can he confuse Winston and get him to make the mistakes? That's going to be, I think, one of the more intriguing matchups of the week.
Oh, I agreed. I can't wait to see that football game unfold. You kind of laid it out there, and the Saints have wanted to run the football first, and they haven't let Jameis Winston just go. Even the first game, and he threw the 5 touchdowns, but it was only 140 yards he threw for, right? So, there's a lot to watch for in certain matchups in that football game, and agree with you there. I'm interested to see how that plays out too. I think my next one, I'm going to go Aaron Donald versus the Bucs O-line. It's hard to pick up one matchup because Aaron Donald moves everywhere, right? But really my broader point is we haven't seen anybody even get close to Tom Brady yet this year. Nobody's gotten close. And how can the Rams do that? Can Aaron Donalds and Leonard Floyd get there, win their matchups? Or does Raheem Morris have to compromise himself and blitz and do creative stuff like that? Now, he's going to understand the offense coming from Atlanta, and last year when he took over, I mean, that Atlanta defense did a pretty good job, especially in the first matchup against the Bucs. But that's something I look at because, man, you're not going to beat the Bucs if you can't get around Brady. You're not. He's going to dice you up, and they'll be able to run the ball, and they pick their poison and how they want to just kick your butt.
Next one for me, and I agree with you, and whether to what extent Tom Brady can avoid Aaron Donald, the pressure up the middle, that's been the formula, that's been the blueprint for years. Brady can deal with the pressure around the edges. He skips, he hops, he slides. When it's coming right at him from the interior defensive line, that's when he can get rattled. He starts looking down at the rush, loses sight of the receivers, and there's only so much he can do at that point. The duck and cover may not even save him from Aaron Donald. I'm going to go Tyler Lockett, the Seahawks receiver, against the Vikings suspect cornerbacks, because Lockett has been awesome this year, getting deep touchdown passes in each of the first 2 games, and the Vikings have been giving them up, whether it's letting Rondale Moore run free uncovered,
right,
whether it's Jamar Chase sprinting by Bashaud Breeland. The Vikings corners, last year the excuse was they're too young. This year the excuse may be they're too old. They're not getting it done, and Tyler Lockett is getting it done. That's having me, as we get ready to do the Mega Picks podcast later this morning, that's scaring me on this possibility of the Vikings getting to 1-2 with a win at home. They're going to have to deal with Tyler Lockett, and I'm not sure they can, Chris.
Yeah, no, I think it's a valid point. And, I mean, the Seahawks, what we've seen so far, they got a few plays every game to just, bombs away and go after it that way. So that will be. If you can take that away, which is a big if, the Seahawks have a hard time kind of putting drives together. I mean, you're not going to see a ton of that. And if Zimmer can have the right game plan there, maybe he can make life hard on Russell Wilson and company. Josh Allen versus the Washington front four, right? They've been disappointing so far this year, the front four from Washington. Last week against the Giants, got off to a good start. But, man, as the game went on, they fizzled out. Like, if I had to self-scout thyself, the one thing that we dropped the ball on, or I dropped the ball on with Washington, is they don't have enough depth on the D-line. They have to ask these guys to play too many snaps, and they're non-existent in week 1 against the Chargers, at the end of the game, and the same thing last week against the Giants. And now you got Josh Allen, who they can protect pretty good, and he runs around like – show me something here in Washington front. We'll see, but that's certainly something I'm going to be watching for on Sunday.
I'm going to sweep more broadly because this is something we're all watching for as it relates to the interactions between players on the field. So players versus players, the taunting rule. Will they adjust? Will they adapt? I still don't know why so many people want to see, as you said, so artfully yesterday, a guy waving his junk in someone's face. Not that, fortunately, that happens on a regular basis, but adjust your behavior.
Yeah.
Don't get in people's faces. Celebrate, just don't celebrate at the expense of an opponent. Treat each other with respect. Show good sportsmanship. This isn't some hot take. Every coach that's talked about it supports it. It's not that hard to do. It's up to the coaches to coach the players how to avoid those situations. We'll see if they're able to do it this week, Chris, because if they can't, it will continue to be a major topic of conversation.
Yeah, I hope they can. Again, I mean, we've just stated the reasons, and no old school football guy or most guys involved in the league, I don't think really want to see it. So, again, I know there's a few out there that think it's okay. I think it's not good for the game.
Yep, I agree with you completely, and it's still a situation where celebration is allowed. The No Fun League is not dead. This is just a very specific instance of interaction that they're trying to take out of the game. And it astounds me that people just either refuse or fail to understand.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.